The day Hannah was born, something shifted in the realm. She didn't cry immediately. She just opened her bright eyes and looked around, like she had been here before. They didn't know it, but God had just settled down to create a woman of war. Born in the middle part of Nigeria, into a family of four that had nothing to their name, no wealth, no history, no honor, just survival. But then came Hannah, thick, beautiful, calm-skinned. The kind of baby you stare at and feel peace, the kind of baby the devil marks early. Even the nurses said it, this one go be different. But being chosen isn't always sweet. From the moment she started crawling, sickness followed her, strange fevers, sleepless nights, spiritual dreams, and they began to call her the black sheep. But what they didn't know was, she was carrying the weight of what they couldn't break, and Hannah's family, nobody rises. Her uncles, drunk, her aunties, angry and bitter, her cousins, some in jail, some just roaming. And no one ever crossed the village line and came back with success. Every time someone tried to rise, the spirit of almost but never would show up. But from small, Hannah started asking dangerous questions. Why don't we have more? Why is everyone angry? Why do we pray but still suffer? Her mother tried to shut her down. Don't ask too many questions, oh. You want them to say you've joined them? But it was too late. Grace had already started shaking the ground. The illness that refused to go at age 10. Hannah almost died. Doctors said it was malaria. But something in her spirit knew better. She kept hearing a voice whispering, "You must not grow." Her parents spent nights crying. They did traditional sacrifices. Nothing worked. But one midnight, as she lay weak and alone, she said just for words, "God, help me live." And from that day, everything changed. She didn't get healed instantly, but a new strength entered her bones. One that didn't come from medicine. Different. Even in school she was the girl that didn't fit in, too spiritual for the worldly ones, too real for the religious ones. Boys chased her, but she felt nothing. Friends mocked her, but she smiled, because something deep inside her said, "Stay hidden, you're not like them." Even teachers saw it. "Hannah, you're too calm, too focused." But they didn't know. She wasn't trying to impress, she was just obeying a silent voice. The day she packed her bags at 22, she woke up one morning and said, "I'm going to Abuja." Her family laughed. "Go and do what? You know even get person there." But she had no time to explain. Because when grace pushes you, logic looks like rebellion. With a small bag, 300, and a heart full of faith, she entered that bus, and the moment her feet touched Abuja's soil, heaven smiled, but hell got angry. Of light, Abuja looked bright on the outside, but spiritually, it was a battlefield. First week she fell sick. Second week her rent money disappeared. Third week strange dreams. She almost ran back home. But then she remembered, I didn't bring myself here. God did. So she fasted, prayed, stayed quiet. Men of God started approaching her. "You carry something. We can help you if you follow us." But something in her kept saying, "Not this one." Even the fake prophets couldn't deceive her. Her spirit refused to say yes. He looked perfect. Nice car, fine smile, sweet tongue. He said all the right things, promised her heaven. But the night he tried to touch her, she saw something in his eyes, a serpent. She screamed, ran into the bathroom, and cried, "God, please don't let me fall." That night, her room filled with light, and a soft voice whispered, "You are mine." She was just worshipping quietly, knees on the floor, no makeup, no filter. When heaven opened, her eyes opened. She saw her past, her present, and the chains that had held her family for generations. She saw herself not weak, but anointed. That day, Hannah died, and the woman of fire rose. She started seeing visions, dreams of nations, girls like her lost and empty. She knew what she had to do. Speak, tell her story, expose darkness, and help others rise. But with purpose came attacks, more spiritual battles, family betrayal. Even people online tried to silence her, but she remembered, the girl who almost died is now raising others. Now, Hannah walks with boldness. She's not perfect, but she's powerful. She's not loud, but her presence speaks. The same people who mocked her now watch her. The same devils who chased her now fear her, because when God settles down to create someone, he doesn't stop halfway. And bestie, he's just getting started with Hannah. After her divine encounter, Hannah thought the battles would stop. She thought, now that I've found my purpose, life will get easier. But that's not how it works when you're chosen. The attacks changed shape. Not just sickness now. People, friends, family. Her own sister started acting strange. Old friends ghosted her. Her phone stopped ringing. But what hurt the most? Her mother stopped calling. Why? Because people started saying, Hannah thinks she's better than us now. But in her quiet place, God said, you're not losing people. I'm revealing who was never really with you. The silence was loud. There were days she cried with worship playing in the background. Days she sat in her room, whispering, God, are you still with me? And heaven answered with peace, not loud, not thunder, just a still calm. That's when she learned. Being alone with God is better than being popular without him. One day at a small service, a woman she had never met touched her shoulder and said, you're going to speak to nations. But first, God is pruning your heart. Hannah broke down. Not because of the prophecy, but because the woman used the exact words she had prayed the night before pruning, and she realized, God hears every whisper. Even when you think he's far, it was fine. Tall, soft-spoken, claimed to love God. And he said all the right scriptures. He offered her money for her dreams, support for her calling, and a ring. But deep down, something didn't sit right. One night while praying, she had a dream. She saw him standing beside a mirror with no reflection. And she heard, he looks like me, but he's not from me. She cut him off and cried for days, because obedience hurts, but regret wounds deeper. A woman messaged her, I watched your short video. Can you come speak to our girls? She was nervous. She had never held a mic publicly, but she went. Simple dress, no makeup, just fire. And by the time she was done, girls were crying. One knelt and said, I want your God. That night, Hannah knew, this is what I was born for. She smiled online, posted inspiring quotes, answered DMs, but at night, she fought thoughts like, you're not good enough. Nobody cares about your story. You'll fail like the others. But she kept showing up, because even when her mind was shaking, her spirit stood tall, and heaven kept clapping silently. The rent was due. Her account was dry. Her body was tired. Her spirit felt numb. She packed her things that morning. She told herself, I'll go back home. Maybe this wasn't God. But just as she reached for her door, a message popped up on her phone. 20000. Received. From someone who wrote, God said I should support whatever you're building. She fell to the floor, tears and tongues, because God may come late to man's clock, but he's always on time for his own. She started recording short voice notes, simple, real, raw. She didn't even have a ring light, but her words carried oil. Soon, strangers began sharing her videos. Some were getting healed, others were getting saved. A few got angry, because truth carries fire, and fire doesn't apologize. But Hannah didn't care about applause anymore. She just wanted to obey. The same family that ignored her started reposting her content. The friends that ghosted her started liking her videos. One cousin even sent a message. We don't understand what you're doing, but we're proud of you. She smiled, but didn't reply, because when God starts making noise with your life, you don't need to clap back. You just keep growing. Now, Hannah is not who she used to be. She walks in rooms with calm power. She prays with fire. She speaks with purpose. But she's still growing, still healing, still becoming. And now the world is watching, not because she forced herself to be seen, but because God refused to hide her any longer. This is not just a story. This is a reminder that the girl who almost died is now a voice the world cannot silence.